Sunshine's Corner, being brought to you by Quint and Richie Studer. And it's a beautiful Friday morning. Good morning to you, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome into the hottest spot in town. And I got it caught in my mouth. You see what I'm doing, right? Got me off guard, but welcome into the hottest spot in town because we were talking about water and I need some so bad. But what we're doing today, ladies and gentlemen, I want to welcome you into this very, very special segment of Sunshine's Corner. You know, I try to talk about the things that are utterly important to us in the community. Why? Because I believe that the more we talk about a situation, we can come up with a better solution. Yours and my ideas together, we can do something even greater. And today, there is no difference in what I do. I go out and I find the people who can help me, who are out there making a difference. Mr. Jeff Nall, who's with me today, and we are going to be talking about things that, with our people in charge now, how it's affecting the LGBTQ community, things that we should be prepared to do, things that we as a community, Jeff, that should just come together and put this strong will that we have to make sure we got a force to fight with. Good morning, Jeff.
Good morning, Sunshine. Pleasure to be here, and thank you for your interest.
Well, thank you. So I want to know, because people as a whole, this man is going at every angle that he can think of. And I've got to say this before I even go into that. I want to ask the community to do this. To please let us pray for those people, the families of those that were in that crash day before yesterday. That was, 69 people? 67 or 69 that died. And the rhetoric that's being talked now, it breaks my heart because I can imagine the families of these people that died. But you know me, I don't believe that there's no distance in prayer, that we can really uplift those to make them feel better because of what's going on with them and not the rhetoric that's being put out there to even cause more chaos than it already is. I had to say that. But because
well
it is
said.
Absolutely ridiculous.
Well
but
said.
Jeff, I wanted to find out from you because I know that you are the president, right, of the LGBTQ community. And I wanted to find out because I see now where he's even reaching there. He's trying to talk about even with the military. And that he did one thing before in his first go-round. Now he's coming back on this one with another go-round. And how the community is accepting. What are we doing about that? How are we feeling about it?
Well, thank you for having me.
Oh, of course.
And as one member of the community, I don't know that I can speak for every member
Right.
of the community, but I will point out that among the LGBTQ folks who voted in the November election, 86% voted for Vice President Harris.
Yes.
That's the highest demographic group. The group ahead of that had a larger percentage was African American females.
Absolutely.
So I do feel like there's some consensus, and I do
Yes.
work with local, state, and
Yes, you
national
do.
organizations. But we see what's coming out of Washington daily, hourly.
Every minute.
And it's meant to create confusion, despair, and all that kind
And
of.
he's being successful too.
Well,
To a point.
to a point, but our community and our allies, like many other minority communities, we're no stranger to attacks and scapegoating.
Right.
And so we know how to organize, we know how to resist.
Exactly.
We know how to be resilient and
Yes.
educate and organize.
Exactly.
So that's what we're going to do moving forward. And as Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. said, and I want to make sure I do not misquote anything, the arc of the moral universe is long, but it bends towards justice.
Yes.
But sometimes it takes a little bit longer than we would like. So in the meantime, we've got to stay together. We've got to hold folks accountable and take care of each other.
I agree with you, Jeff, because when you said something there that is absolutely correct. These things, because he has one factor that I wish that some of us would take a heed to and see what he's doing. He has a play with words, and he used those words over and over and over and over. That becomes a statement. I'll give you another example. Like, for instance, everybody know about the red cap with mega, right? He planted that. So, and he's doing the same thing now, but he's using the word DEI to factor in some of his points to try to cause that, to cause that point of negativity that we see so strongly now. But you said something else, I agree with you 100%, that we as a community can put our resources together and be that force to shake things up to make a difference.
Sure.
Because we're not going to stop him from talking. I mean, we can't do it.
No, and there's a fine line between we have to call things out,
Exactly.
and for what it is.
Exactly.
But I remember something my grandmother used to say: consider the source. you know, and not give it too much oxygen. So you know, we are responsible to hold folks accountable. But we also have to know it is what it is.
Exactly. And it is who it is.
And stay in a good space ourselves. You know, that's why they're talking about joyful resistance. You know, we can resist and but have fun doing it. And you know what? Sometimes in the midst of the worst of the crazy, going to the beach and reading a book is a great form of resistance because they want you to be at home nervous.
Sitting around like, what are we going to do? I'm so scared.
We're smart.
Yes.
We've been, like you and Derek said yesterday, this ain't the first rodeo.
I was going to say it again because he was so cute when he said, that's right, we've ridden this horse before. We've been down this road before. So we know how to ride this horse. But I knew that he was going to do something. I knew that. We talked about this month after month after month beforehand. But some of us didn't think it was going to happen. But it did. And I know I doubled up on the fact of getting the information out about Project 2025. But I don't think it really stuck for some people. They thought it weren't going to happen. And even for those who did vote for him. Okay? Love you with a perfect kind of love. But it's going to affect you too.
Well, that is true. That is very, very true.
He's not going to say, okay, well, let me go down here to Florida. I'm not going to affect you with that. I'm going to go for these. No, it's going to affect you too, whether you want to say it out loud or not. Because he cannot just say that it's only going to affect your community, the minority communities.
Right.
It's not going to be. And for those who are seeing now that what it's going to take, we just begun, I said 12 days, we had 4 years. But what is it how are we going to get our people here to get in the right mindset? Because it's out there that you look on social media, all through IG, it's negative all the way across.
Well, we have to stay positive, and we have to, thanks to folks like you, we got to have these conversations, and share some ideas.
Exactly.
You know, towards the end, I've got some ideas I'd like to share with people about what they can do to get involved. But you know, about these executive orders, if you read them all very clearly, I mean, some will not amount to anything.
Right.
Legal challenges, societal challenges. For example, freezing the federal grants last week. You know, there was a lot of pushback from social service agencies and other groups that were saying, look, this is going to affect money that I need for nutrition programs.
Exactly.
I know of another group that was planning on laying people off the next day. So these have real consequences. But because of the pushback, it was rescinded.
Okay, that's what I mean.
So that's the power that we have. And that's the power we've got to use. But when you read a lot of these executive orders, the implementation is really fuzzy. Does not really clear.
That's right.
It's to encourage an agency to do this, to do that.
Exactly.
It is meant to get us talking about it.
Most certainly.
And to have a chilling effect.
Exactly.
Where people will, I better not do that because if it goes this way, then I've already done, you know. We need to see it for what it is and let the courts and society push back.
Exactly. And let's keep it pushed back.
But one of the things I wanted to mention, and I know you mentioned this to me on the phone, was about the executive order banning trans folks from serving in the military. It was expected because he did it the first time.
Yes, he did.
But let me point out the difference. When you look at an executive order or a piece of legislation, a lot of times at the top, there's a section called the purpose.
Okay.
And that's where they kind of lay out the thought process that's going through it, how they got there, and what they hope the rest of it to result with.
Right.
Well, when the first time, the purpose, though it was false, is a lot of fraudulent scientific studies and, you know, bad best practices, you know, but it was at least rooted in some kind of attack on science.
Right.
In this one, and I want to quote this because I
Please,
do not
go right
want
ahead.
to be mistaken.
Come on, quote it.
All the issues with science are gone, and this one is based on integrity of the individual. And it says that trans people, that the fact that they are trans people, that conflicts with a soldier's commitment to an honorable, truthful, and disciplined lifestyle. To me, that is very offensive.
Very much so.
I have friends who are trans who served in the military, and I cannot say nothing but the highest about their sense of honor, their truth, and how they lead their life and their responsibility.
Right.
So to take something that just shows you it went from trying to talk about bad science to hate.
Exactly. That's what he's built on, is hate.
That's exactly.
It's hate. I never thought that I would see a person in my lifetime, at this point in time in life, to try to take things and turn it back. We took the statement that Vice President Harris, well, she would always say, "We're not going back now. We're not going back," but he's trying to take it back. I think he is so. Hate is. Dr. King said, "That's too much weight on me to hate, so I'd rather love." Right? Hate is that's a powerful, heavy load, but he thrives on that. Something just came in my head. I gotta say that. What does this thing mean that Elon Musk did at the inauguration when he threw his hand up? Here, isn't that a Hitler?
That's what I took it to mean.
Okay.
That's
but now he said he loved, right?
I think I was reading a book
I saw it on social media, because what he did was when he came back, I'm going, like I said, this is gonna be a conversation. He came out and he was really dogging Snoop Dogg, and took Snoop Dogg. I want to get in his face anyway. He took what Snoop Dogg said back in 2017, and the moment he came out, he put that video up. And I mean, but that was a slick move what he did. That was also to cause division. And all these tactics that they're using on our communities.
You're right.
It's to cause division. So, but we've got to learn not to allow that to happen, to be the force that we know that we can be, to come back with the facts to fight back.
Right. And that's what we have to do, is stick together. And the saying about, first they came for so and so and I didn't do anything, and then they came for me and there was no one else to help me.
Exactly.
So we got to help each other. We're in this together.
I think we need to I want to see that so well, because there was a billboard that was put up. I don't know if it was cropped, or they're really good with people who can do that stuff with IT. That was put up on Facebook, and it was from the 60s on a billboard, where they were trying to stop. If you remember the movie, when the police were stopping Dr. King and all from coming across the bridge at the Edmund Pettus. And that's up on a billboard, and whoever put it up said somebody should be locked up for this. But I'm saying people are using tactics. I don't know who did it, because I tried to research to go back, and they have so much be blocked that you can't find out who really put it up. But it's up, and I say that, but to go back to try to take us back to that era, that's not going to happen. To have that much hate in your heart, to cause that you would like to feel like you have to be that person who has over me, that you can really tell me. I think it's all about the strength of being the leader, or want to be the person that I'm a person that can dictate to you what to do, or I want to be that person that does that. It goes through me, Jeff, and I mean, I know that with myself and in our community, I believe in speaking out. Sometimes I may speak out a lot, but I wish that there were more speaking out here.
Well, and I think people will. I think they're going to find that they have to. Going back to the scenario of the funds that were going to be cut, people need to speak out and say, well, my son or daughter or neighbor lost their job.
Exactly.
So we need to put it in context of how these word salad mumbo jumbo, what's the real impact?
That's what I'm talking about.
And one of the things that also, Sonshine, I did a little homework trying to.
Yeah. I tell you what, let's go to break then. We're going to come back and go into the homework, because I'm flipping up. I got my notes too. But everybody, please be a part of this conversation at 850-432-7768. You can let me know what you're feeling. It's not just for Jeff and myself. It's for you as well. 850-432-7768. You can call or text right here, Sonshine's Corner.
Good day, Pensacola. Welcome to a new segment on health and wellness sponsored by Baptist Healthcare in partnership with Sonshine's Corner. Every first Wednesday of the month during Sonshine's telecast, we're going to be bringing you information about health and wellness and ways to make sure we're improving the quality of your health care here in Pensacola. After all, we want to ensure that you're going to the right place at the right time and for the right reason, and that you don't feel alone. Can't wait to see you.
Do you have a house that you want to turn into cash? I'm Mike with Mullet Man Buys Houses from Pensacola, Florida. Maybe you inherited a house, are facing foreclosure, have tenant issues, or the house is in general disrepair. I buy houses cash, in as-is condition, and close in as little as 3 weeks. I can provide you a competitive offer the same day I walk through your house. With Mullet Man Buys Houses, you can find the easy solution to put cash in your hand as quickly as possible.
Many who consider facial plastic surgery are concerned their results will look unnatural. But with over 20 years of serving the Pensacola community, his thousands of satisfied patients have made Dr. Derek Jones a trusted reconstructive and facial plastic surgeon known for industry-leading results that look natural. Call 850-484-FACE to schedule a consultation at one of our locations in Pensacola and Gulf Breeze.
I'm Dr. Derek Jones. Trust your face to a facial plastic surgeon.
At Pensacola Habitat for Humanity, we believe every child should have a safe place to grow. That's why we work with you and the community to build not just a house, but a home.
She worked very hard to get this house. I really appreciate that because, if it wasn't for her, I wouldn't be here right now.
When you help build a home, you build a future. Pensacola Habitat for Humanity.
And we are yet talking about factors or ways that we can come back with a solution to not just accept what's being thrown to us, but to do things to make a difference right here to impact us by fighting together. Mm-hmm. And Jeff, you said you had some notes you wanted to share.
Yeah.
He always does he goes and does his homework now. Okay. I mean, he's got that right.
Well, I wanted to look at, the root of some of this because it is theatrics. We know that.
Right.
It's meant to instill fear and create just confusion, but it also leads other people down a certain path because we have an obligation to educate ourselves. And sometimes we're not the most educated
of course.
Citizenry. There have been studies about perceptions of the size of a population.
Right.
And what it shows is that if it's a minority population, the perception is it's a larger population than it actually is.
Okay.
If it's a projection about a majority group, the guess of the percentage is lower. So for example, one of the questions it asked was if you had to guess what percentage of American adults are transgender. The average response was 21%.
Okay.
And that's 1 in 5 Americans. The actual number is 0.6%, less than 1% of the general population.
Really?
People hear this word on television all the time and they think there must be millions and millions and millions, but actually,
Point?
The response was collectively was that they assumed 21% of the public was transgender, and it's actually less than 1%. But it's also the same about religious and racial and ethnic groups. For example, the perception was that, 27% of the people in America are Muslims. The reality is it's 1%. For Jewish Americans, they had guessed 30%, and the reality is 2%. Native Americans, the guess was 27%, and the actual is 1%. Asian Americans, 29% expected, 6% in reality, and for African Americans, the perception was 41% against actual of 12%.
Really?
So how does this happen? The way this happens is people say they don't know anybody. they want to just other people.
Okay.
And what they see and hear on the media. And I know a lot of the media does a really good job of pointing things out, but
Exactly.
every time we hear one of these press conferences, we're hearing these same buzzwords, and people
Exactly.
are thinking, well, gosh, this must be a huge problem.
Right.
Well, the fact is, it's not.
It's not, because look at the numbers.
Look at the numbers. And I want to be clear, just because the number of transgender people is a smaller number,
That
you know,
does not
even
mean-
if there's just one,
That's right.
they deserve all the dignity and respect in the
Exactly.
world. So
Exactly.
I'm not saying it's a small percentage. Why they need to be treated like we all need to be treated like we all.
Same thing we say about blacks.
Yeah, equality. But the interesting side, what I mentioned on the flip side,
Mm-hmm.
if it's a majority group, like for example, they ask what proportion of American adults are Christian.
Uh-huh.
The estimate was 58, and the reality is 70.
Really?
So it's
It's flip-flop.
it flip-flops whether it's a minority group.
Mm-hmm.
So that shows you something is stoking fear.
Mm-hmm.
There's some rhetoric that is causing these people to have these misguided perceptions
Absolutely.
of the population, and it's harmful.
Mm-hmm.
And it can. Some of us will muddle through the next 4 years, and some people will not survive.
Absolutely.
But for people that are like, okay, well, we got to run business.
That's right.
Let's talk business.
Mm-hmm.
So there are about there's about 15,000 trans people in the military right now. And so some studies have been done by some nonpartisan research institutes to talk about taking them out of the picture. What does that cost us? And this says that removing the service members result in the loss of an $18 billion capital investment.
Good God.
And they also project that it will take $1 billion additional dollars to recruit and train. Now, anybody that owns a small business, you have people here who have a small business.
Thank you.
When someone leaves, it is very expensive,
Very.
both in time and money, to hire and train and get somebody up to speed.
Exactly.
I also found out that about 73% of these people have been in the service for 12 to 21 years, so they're at a higher level.
Exactly.
So where does that institutional knowledge go? So if we're
smart.
trying to be smart and save money,
You're
this is not the way to do it.
You're costing.
so it's not being thought through. Again, it's theatrics, and we need to see it for what it is, call it out, and
And
move
as your
on.
grandma would say, look at the source where it's coming from.
Yeah, that's what we got to do.
Absolutely.
But we need to educate ourselves.
Now, I say that all the time, educate ourselves, because knowledge is power. And if we don't just take what somebody says, do this research for yourself and find out. Even with the, up in Washington, D.C., they got to stop that. But I want to ask you this, Jeff. Why do you think, now let's throw all the other out, why do you think he's so full of hate against minorities?
Well, I don't know that I can necessarily get into anyone's head, but
I mean, he's so open with it that he's so against. That blows my mind.
well, I think a lot of people that are insulated and don't have contact with other groups have that kind of fear. We say we don't know anybody,
Right.
and I'm sure that's why DEI, or whatever you want to call it,
Exactly.
is good.
Exactly.
Because we can't hate a group that will, hey, I know him or her, and they're cool. I like them, and we
Exactly.
go have lunch. And so by getting out of the shell, exposes people to new ideas and new ways of thinking, and different people, and it's hard to hate what you know.
Exactly. Let's look at this comparison. I can think back several years back. Donald Trump was the name. Everybody wanted to go to something. Let me learn something from Donald Trump. He would always send out these things where you could go. He would teach you how to do this. And I'm talking, I can remember even myself. I said, let me see what this man's talking about, right? He's not that person that was portrayed there. Then came, you're fired. That show. And I saw a different person there than I knew from before, when it used to be everybody wanted to hear what this Donald Trump had to say. And everybody, you used to get the same thing. If he was coming to a town, you wanted to go to that seminar so you could find out things. What transition or transpired during that span of time to cause him to be this evil one now? What do you think? I mean, this is just you and me talking. I don't understand how a person can go from, here's somebody that was in the 12 years ago, 13 years ago, 14 years ago. Everybody, even the black community, wanted to go out to see what he was teaching. Oh, all this stuff that I could be this powerful businessman. Then, here comes Donald Trump, he gets a show. But you saw then, okay, I saw a part of him in him there than I see now. Mm-hmm. But all of that, what happened to him to cause him to be the most disliked person that he is now?
That is a very long question and one I'm not qualified to answer. But I will just say this, that power and ego and greed are very powerful drugs. And when people get some of that, they want a little bit more. Mm-hmm. But I think your question is very valid and it's good, but honestly, I can't answer that. And I would rather take the time that it would take me to think about that and think about how many people can I get to show up to push back on something?
Exactly.
How many people can I get to write a letter to their congressperson?
Exactly.
So I kind of pick and choose where I put my energy.
Exactly.
And I'm not being dismissive of the question. I would like to know too.
Exactly.
But
it's such a transformation.
But I'd rather go forward than
exactly. Try to go back and figure out why he is what he is today. Because I believe like this too. Your true self is going to come out no matter what. You can hide it for so long, but the real you is coming out. Mm-hmm. That person that's on the inside is coming out, and that's what has happened. But I would like to hear from you. I mean, and I try to tell people a lot of times too, because you won't believe this. When we were at the Dr. King program here a couple of Saturdays ago, everybody in that place, oh my God, I love the show. Oh my God, I love the information. Thank you for doing that. Mm-hmm. But Sonshine, I'm scared to call. I see you, but I'm scared. I don't want you to be afraid to talk. You hear what I'm talking about. I'll get inboxes. Oh, I love that conversation. What about talk to me?
Right.
This is what I'm trying to convey now to you. Let's not be afraid to talk about the situation. I love it, and thank you for coming up telling me you enjoy the show. Be a part of the show.
That's exactly right. Everyone has a role to play.
Everybody.
And we're not. And for viewers, we're not looking at the caller ID.
No.
That phone's call's been transferred 3 times in this building.
I tell you,
we have no idea who called.
No idea
unless they choose to identify themselves.
Exactly.
So,
but that really amazed me because there were quite a few people there, and I'm talking from both sides. Mm-hmm. They were telling me what a link this show is, what a powerful entity that God has opened up for us to use. But yet you're still afraid to speak what you feel on the inside. And I tell everybody every single day, and I will say this till I'm blue in the face. That's going to take a lot of doing. Don't hold it within. We're not going to get anywhere if you don't speak.
That's exactly right.
Your voice needs to be heard.
That's exactly right.
And just as Jeff is talking now, who's willing to write your congressman, write your city council, whoever it is? You've got the right to do that, but don't be afraid. What you're afraid you're going to lose? 2 minutes talking to me? You're afraid somebody's going to recognize your voice? And I'm the best with it recognizing voice. If I don't know who you are, I go, you can tell on my face when it hit light bulb. But I'm saying, let's not be afraid to talk about the things that being talked about. There was a question that was asked of me this morning. I wish he would call me, and he's here in the building. I wish he would call me right now and ask that question. So I want to hear what the community would think about that question because of the fact that of what's going on. I really wish he would call me right now and just ask that question because I gave my opinion, but it was a statement I think that the community would come across to say what it is, how they feel about it. You understand? It's because of this thing that's being used with this word game. We as a community, what our powerful tool is this: togetherness, speaking out, and standing firm together on what's right.
That's exactly what we need to be doing.
That's what we need to be doing. No matter how loud I scream, no matter how frustrated I may become, that's not going to make a difference. What's going to make a difference is the fact that we have a job to do. And the only way we're going to win has got to be togetherness. Mm-hmm. It must be togetherness. She used to go to break now because I'm getting ready to go on my second sermon. But everybody, please be a part of this conversation because it is utterly needed. You are in the midst of what's going on as well. 850-432-7768. That's the number where we can have that conversation right here on Sunshine's Corner.
You finally found the perfect car in racing blue. You even got them to throw in the LED fog lights for free. Auto Owners insures your car because some people never learn to parallel park. That's simple human sense.
Ask the Messick Insurance Agency in Pensacola if Auto Owners make sense for you.
Keep going, more. No, stop!
There are many reasons someone may need in-home care, whether it may be respite care, them recovering from surgery, or having a chronic condition. Having someone dedicated and reliable is imperative. Supplemental Support Care Services was created to provide to those who are in need with quality care that they deserve in the home. Taking it a step further, our main goal is to ensure that Supplemental Support Care Services is where the love and care is top priority.
This is Charlie with RWB Spas in Pensacola. This is my #1 seller. It's the Bellagio Boo, which is aluminum frames and aluminum panels. We believe in the Charles Deming philosophy, which is quality, and we have the aluminum frames, aluminum panels, our thick inch base, and the latest, greatest technology on the market. RWB Spas, this is why everybody comes here. It's because they purchased the #1 seller in the country, rwbhottubs.com, and come meet Bambino.
Early in life, Tony found a love for craftsmanship through building furniture. Growing up in cabinet shops, he was drawn towards custom cabinetry, designing, and creating new and functional spaces. And to be able to share that passion with his clients, helping them turn their ideas into something special, making sure you get more for your investment.
Every kitchen and bath starts with your unique vision. I just bring it to life.
Master-built cabinets, beautifully handcrafted and customer designed.
And welcome back to the hottest spot in town. This is Sunshine's Corner, Friday edition. How they say it? It's Friday. But listen, Jeff, so glad that you're here with me because of the fact that we're talking about a very important topic. And we have several text messages just came in. And one of the text messages were that the media does not fight back. How do we fight back when the media does not fight back when he gets out this wrong information? What are your thoughts on that?
It's complicated.
It is.
You know, they should be supporting the First Amendment and asking hard questions, and some of them in the press room do.
Right.
There were some very direct questions about, do you really think DEI crashed that plane? You know.
Right.
So there are some that really do push back. There are other media groups that are owned by a corporate entity which has certain alliances, and
they're going to say what they cannot say.
They're kind of told what they can and cannot say.
Exactly.
So they are out there, but again, that's something that we need to encourage and ask. They all have information lines. Mm-hmm. Hey, why is this kind of one-sided?
Exactly.
Or I saw a question, I'm not hearing that question on your station. And I do want to talk a little bit about how people can push back and hold people accountable. And even if some people say, well, why? It's not going to do anything. It's not going to bother. Mm-hmm. They do keep track of comments that come in.
Of course they do.
So, you know, that's another thing, but that's a very good question.
Right.
And I know they're opening now the press room to other bloggers, social influencers. I know Rick Allison applied for a pass.
I reached out to Rick, and Rick is going to be on the show next week.
Rick is doing some great reporting.
Yes, he is.
I mean, look at what's going on out at UWF.
UWF. I love the one he did when he was standing by. He said, let's keep ours the way it is.
And, you know, it is low. You know, we're talking this conversation basically, you know, nationally, but we do have local examples.
Yes, we do.
And then we've got the Florida legislature. I mean, as we said 3 months ago, you know, we've been the lab rats for Project 2025. If anybody knows what that means, it's Floridians.
They sure do.
So yes, we'll be in Tallahassee. Session starts March the 4th. I know I'll be over there for Pride at the Capitol, March 18th and 19th.
That's right.
And we'll be there in numbers and going and having meetings with
you're pushing back. You got to push back. You got to push back. And another text message was, read that second one for me again, Jennifer. I forgot all that reading. It was so long. I know she's going to. Why is it that people that voted for Mega and got to take accountability for what they voted for, and they see that the rhetoric that's going on, I'm paraphrasing, and that is happening, yeah. But I think some of them see it now, and that it's affecting them as well as anybody else. And the one that was, what did he say? DII was his kids. Donald Trump Jr., Eric, and Ivanka. Somebody was thinking outside the box.
somebody's thinking, you know, but it is just so important.
It is.
That
it's utterly important.
The community comes together, and yeah, some of this is so crazy we do want to laugh, and you know, laugh's part of being joyful.
Exactly.
You know, you can find humor in it for a couple of minutes, but. It is serious.
Yes, it is.
But it is theatrics.
It's very.
It's theatrics that are meant to instill fear, create confusion, and distract. So we're all worked up over here while they're doing something really bad like cutting Social Security and Medicare over here.
Yes.
But back to your point about folks that may have voted a certain way, I think they will feel, and some have
already begun to feel it.
This isn't what I bargained for.
That's right.
I thought I bought into we're going to decrease grocery prices, and now the response is, well, I can't do anything about that.
I can't do anything about that.
So yeah,
eggs $15.
Do I kind of feel sorry for them? Maybe on a good day. But
Jeff, I love it. Maybe on a good day.
But I think time will show that the harm will cross all political spectrums.
Yes, it is.
All communities.
Yes, it will.
And hopefully we'll be able to recover within my lifetime.
Exactly. And everybody, we're talking about exactly what's happening. It's affecting you too. It will affect you. We're talking about life itself. We're talking about what's going on in Washington, D.C., what's being shoved out. But as a community, as a whole, if we come together, we can give him a great pushback that will cause some of these things that he's trying to really incorporate. And what I really hate about are the elderly people, even with their medications, the things that they gotta have, okay? The things that you got to have. Because I'll never forget this. It was a lady that called in way back when I first started this. And she said, oh no, I'm voting for him because he's gonna lower the price of my medication. No, baby. That bothers me because you're probably choosing, should I do this for this or that for that? You know, you got to choose what's more important. Is it the groceries or the medicine? Is it the paying the power bill or the medication? And those two you got to have.
And see, those are that's storytelling, and that's how we really reach people. We can sit and argue ideology and pie in the sky principles and all that all day long, but we change hearts and minds, you know, with stories and getting somebody to understand what's real. And so when I say that part of what we've got to do is push back, and that includes sharing those stories. And this is one challenge I would like to make to everybody. You can send an email to your elected officials. You don't have to get into politics because at this point they are your representative and you are their constituent. So there's an expectation that we're going to work together. You don't have to be nasty. That's what they do. Be polite. But explain, I oppose XYZ because in my family, my grandmother is not
Right.
taking medicine
That fixed income.
has chosen to do something else, or book banning. This is the impact on my child.
Yes.
Some of the chilling effect of some of the immigration stuff. I have employees who are afraid to come to work. They are totally legal, but they're still afraid to come to work, and so my business is suffering.
That's right.
So these are the kind of stories that we need to tell.
That's right.
And they do track.
Right.
And they do count. Is it a pro or a con? And the same with a phone call. And we were talking about people are kind of nervous to make phone calls. I'll tell you, it's not bad. I regularly make calls to state legislature or someone. You're never going to get the person.
Of course not.
You're going to get an aide who's probably been there 2 years. Yeah. And when you start off saying, hey, this is Jeff, I'm your constituent, and blah, blah, blah. How are you doing today? Totally throws them off guard.
That's right.
And you say, hey, really what I'm calling about is I really think they need to rethink this because X, Y, Z. Kind of make my point. Can you please pass that on? Have a wonderful day.
Exactly. And don't
it's
just talk about it.
It's not a confrontational conversation.
Exactly.
But that gets recorded on that pad as that was a pro call or a con call.
Okay.
And a lot of people, you can do it emails if you really want to stand behind, you can get behind the computer. And one thing I will add, a little, say trick, but some advice I'll give. A lot of advocacy groups will provide like the body of a sample email.
Okay.
Which is really good if you're busy, you just cut and paste.
Exactly, send it on.
But when they get 300 of those, they know what's going on.
Right.
So if you do get something like that, alter the subject line.
There you go.
Not vote no or vote against, I support the other side. Change the first sentence.
It's all in
Change the last sentence. Make it personable and tell your story. If you don't have time, it's better to cut and paste than not.
Exactly.
But do try to make that a very unique communication.
Right.
And the other thing is letters to the editor.
Exactly. And I mean, it's going to take us doing everything that we know that's going to work to get some type response.
And again, I'll use the pushback on the grant freezes.
That's right.
Earlier in the week. That was a lot of organizations, spoke out very, very quickly on how that was going to impact, the citizens and the people they serve, and look what happened.
Exactly.
So we do have power. And we can't forget that.
And that's what they fear. But they fear that, okay?
Right.
But see, they put the fears to cause us to think that we do not have, because they know that we do have. That collectively coming together, we got the biggest force of power there is. And that's why we're talking to you today, all of our viewers. And I know that some of you may be, I've got so much I want to do. Take down all of these things we're talking about. Take that initiative to do your part. Think about it as a huge puzzle. Now, if we take your part out of the puzzle is not complete. So put that back here. So let's complete this puzzle for all of us so that we can reap the great benefits.
Right.
That will benefit us all.
And everybody has a role to play.
Yes.
And we luckily here in this area we have another opportunity. We have a special election coming up.
That's
April
right.
1st.
In April.
With Representative Gates resigning.
Yep.
We have a chance now to send a new representative.
Exactly.
The Republicans had a large group that ran.
Very large.
They finished their primary, but we've had one steady candidate throughout, Gabe Alamont. And this is a chance. The margins are slim in the House and the Senate, so it's not these landslides and mandates they want to talk about.
I think,
this is a chance.
This is what Derek was talking about yesterday, the chance that we have, but we got to do in order to make this work. And we have to. Here's an opportunity so that we can say, now look at this powerful thing that we stuck together, this pushback that we had this opportunity to bring her in. Let's do that. Let's not say, okay, it's not going to work. No, it's not, as long as you say that and sit back. That's where it comes to. We got to do this together to make it work. You see things around us, ladies and gentlemen, that happen every day. So play your part. Do what you're supposed to do right here in your community.
And for your Santa Rosa County viewers, they're going to have a special election a little bit later.
Okay.
Because Dr. Joel Rudman, who was a state representative from Navarre, resigned from the Florida House to be part of this 10 primary group. So there will be a special election. And one of our friends, Dondre Wise, will be running in that election. So you need to get him back on here to tell
Dondre. Oh, wow.
about what he'll be doing. So it's not all over. We got some chances to chip away at some majorities, but it's going to take all of us.
All of us.
We can't get into the fear, and we need to just practice joyful resistance and
do what we got to
link arms and do it.
As a Kingdom Walker would say, don't get that fear, because that's just false evidence appearing real. I mean, he has the greatest acronyms in the world, and that one just stuck with me, right? It just stuck with me. Good morning, Kingdom Walker. Sunshine here with you. Of course, it's the Friday edition of Sunshine's Corner, and we're having a very needed conversation that really encompasses all of us, not just the minority communities, but all of us. You can be a part of it right here on Sunshine's Corner.
Welcome to Little John's Big and Tall, where tall men and big men go for style, fit, and comfort. We offer a wide variety of styles and unique brands that service all sizes from large to 14X, as well as tall sizes from large tall to 6X tall. Our knowledgeable staff are here to make sure you have a stress-free experience and answer any of your questions. Little John's has been named Best of Pensacola and Best of the Bay for 4 years in a row. Visit Little John's at 5700 North Davis or visit us online at littlejohnsbigandtall.com.
It's time to find a health plan that can keep up with your life. A plan that makes getting care convenient, with doctors around the corner.
I can get used to that.
Plus, 24/7 access to care. Plans that keep more money in your pocket, with plan payments as low as $0.
$0. Looks good to me.
Let's find your health solution. Speak to a dedicated Florida Blue agent today. Call 1-850-393-7036 to learn more.
From wanting the perfect dress for the most important day of your life to simply wanting to look your best, let 2 Times a Lady be your saving grace. Whether you're looking for an elegant A-line gown or a trendy cocktail dress, our expert staff will help you find the perfect fit. 2 Times a Lady has been dressing ladies in Pensacola since 1983. Call us at 850-474-3778 or stop by the store at 2755 East Olive Road. We can help you find the ideal dress for your event.
Well, I think it's all about local, and I'm a big believer in local. So I think anytime you can carry a message out locally, it's important. And I think it's anytime the person that delivers the service can also deliver the message, which is unusual. You have the people that actually deliver the project doing the talking, and I think that's a huge difference, and really makes a huge value difference for the consumer. So I'm really just so grateful that we have this local opportunity with Blab TV. My name is Quint Studer, and I am Blab TV.
And welcome back to the hottest spot in town. This is Sunshine's Corner, where we have those conversations that are difficult, but you can feel comfortable right here. And let's talk about what needs to be discussed. We have my good friend Jeff Nall on with me today, and we're just talking about it all boils down to what? Coming together, not just sitting back and accepting, but doing something, but doing it strategically so that we can get some results. Not just everybody, no. Think about what we're going to do. And do it.
That's a very good point, and I think we've been exposed to his antics for long enough, and that we know that it's theatrics.
Exactly.
We know they want everybody just to be all up in arms and running around, but it's to be strategic. We know what we're dealing with.
Exactly.
It's a known entity. It's worse,
but
it's still a known entity.
Thank you.
And we have organizations throughout all of our communities that will help us get the education we need and to learn how to be advocates and do days of action.
Most certainly.
So we have a large network of folks that will help us. So I don't want anybody to think, oh gosh, I can't do anything. I'm not my expertise. I'm just me.
My little bit won't help. Yes, it will.
There's a lot of folks, and then there's power in numbers.
Thank you. It is.
The strategy. I'm glad you brought that up.
Somebody call us. I don't know. Let's see who this is this morning. Good morning.
Good morning, Sunshine. Good morning, Jeff.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I haven't been able to watch y'all because I've been working, and I'm just been at the sheriff department, so now I'm getting ready to pull up to the police department this morning. But how are things going?
Everything is going well. I think you know the topic we talked about yesterday, we're going to be talking about today, and what's your input on that?
You know what? My thing is, I think that, you know what, our main thing for us right now is that we're going to have to do a lot of praying. I was up early this morning. I couldn't sleep. My spirit of discernment is just out of control. And so I just started praying and just praying and praying and praying because there's just so much going on. There's so much divisiveness and you know, pointing fingers at this person and that person and stuff like that. And still people just having, considering people having some human decency. It's like it's just gone completely out of the window. Like, where's the sympathy and the empathy and the compassion that we're supposed to have for other people? And but it's just not there. The people that's supposed to be in the leadership role is just like none of that's available anymore. And we need that back. We need somebody with some strong mindset that's going to have some compassion, and then that's really going to do the work and that's qualified to do the work.
Okay.
Good point.
Good point. Very good point.
It may be a while before we get that person, but we'll be ready for them when they get here.
Yeah, we're waiting on it.
Yeah.
And then
in the meantime,
or
we
her.
have to keep prayer first and foremost.
Absolutely. Well, we got that positive going. I'm sure that we're going to get this done. There's no doubt in my mind. It may be a rough start, but there's no doubt in my mind that it's going to be the outcome that once we just go ahead and do, like we're saying, we're planning, put this together strategically, and do what we got to do. Don't let's sit back and don't sit back and fall and say, "Oh, I can't do this."
Well, one thing that I always tell people when they, kind of get down the dumps and in despair, look around. There's somebody that's much more affected from
Say
this.
That again.
So when people are down in the dumps, woe is me, this is horrible. Look around in your circle. There's always somebody that's being impacted greater than you are.
Exactly.
Focus that energy. Take that disappointment, take that despair, and channel that into helping someone who, for whatever reason, is not going to muddle through this as well as we might.
Exactly.
And so that's a good way to take that energy and channel it in a positive way. It's good for your mental health, but it also helps somebody who's less fortunate.
I agree. I totally agree. And that's what we got to do.
Yeah, very great point, Jeff. You know what? And then too, if we're not checking on other people as well during this time frame, we're gonna lose some great people because we're so stuck in how we're feeling and what's going on with us that we're failing to reach out to somebody else that's in a worse situation.
Right.
And we need to continue to check on people now more than ever.
No doubt.
Exactly, Eric.
Exactly.
You're right.
Exactly. Well, thank you so much as always.
And thank y'all so much, and thank you, Sonshine, for opening doors and opening this platform. We need this more than ever. We need to continue to keep talking about this. I know sometimes it's very hard to listen to some of the things that's going on, some of the stuff that's been said in the congressional hearings and stuff like that because of the fact that they're saying stuff and they let you know what type of person they is, and there got people that say, "Oh, well, they still good for this role," but you're hearing the stuff that's coming out their mouth, and it's like all common sense is just gone out the window. But we're just gonna keep the Lord first and foremost and know that He's gonna have us covered.
No doubt about it. Well, honey, we're down to the end. I actually keep telling you, got 4 minutes. All right. Well, thank you so much.
Thank you, Eric.
Thank y'all, and have a blessed weekend.
All right. Bye-bye.
You too.
Jeff, we're down to the last 3 minutes, really. If you could finish this sentence, what would you say? The world needs more what?
Compassion.
Okay. I believe. I got it.
I believe at some point the pendulum will swing back.
Love is what? Love is?
Love is treating yourself and others in a way that is respectful.
One more. With all that's going on, what is that you would say I am most grateful for?
My husband.
All right then. That's it. I tell you, Jeff, thank you so much. These are questions I often ask people. I want just those 4 little questions. I think they encompass so much.
Mm-hmm.
And when you think about it, because you have to stop and think for a second. What is it that I do believe? What am I grateful for?
Mm-hmm.
But there's some things that we just think, and when you think about it, thank you for being my friend, and thank you for always accepting my invitation to come on the show.
Oh, always, and thank you. And I think we'll help people get out of their funk, and
we're gonna do it.
Open their eyes. You know, don't watch the news. Seeing and hearing sometimes is a little much, but
Exactly.
you can read and do your own homework and educate and find like-minded groups, so you know you have community in every form of what that community word means.
Absolutely.
Because we all are one community. But when we lock arms, we walk faster.
Oh God, don't we do this as well? Well, thank you, Jeff, and we got to get out of here. But it was so fantastic. I love it when we talk, because we always hit so many things that are so important. And everything what we're telling you today and sharing with you today, my dear friends, it's all about us encompassing together. And it's like he said, let's hang around like-minded people. Because if you're going to be that person that maybe you're not the force that has the stronger will to get it out, then you'll be drawn into the other direction. Hang with people that think like you. And when you do that, then you all can put your ideas together, and then we can complete that puzzle so that we can make a difference with us sticking together to overcome what's in front of us now, because we shall overcome this as well. Know that in your heart, because we are going to be at the top. We are going to finish this. And as Dr. King would say, no, some of us, love is what love does. And look, we're going to make it together. We are going to make it together. I'm going to leave you as I do every single day. Never, ever, ever lose your focus. Always remember this. Keep God first in whatever you do, and I guarantee you're going to be a total success. So until Monday morning for another day of nothing but sunshine, kicking off Black History with a book writer coming up on Monday right here, Sunshine's Corner. Know that I love you with a perfect kind of love. Keep shining while I'm gone. Sunshine's Corner, being brought to you by Quint and Richie Studer.